Good morning, everyone. I am Jonaline Villafuerte, student of GE103 DI2 Section B. Today, I am presenting my report about Cavite Mutiny. So, let's start. On 1872, there are two historic events, the Cavite Mutiny and the martyrdom of the three priests. So, what is Cavite Mutiny? So, Cavite Mutiny on January 20, 1872, brief uprising of 200 Filipino troops and workers at the Cavite Arsenal, which became the excuse for Spanish repression of the embryonic Philippine nationalist movement. Ironically, the harsh reaction of the Spanish authorities served ultimately to promote the national cause. So, if you could read the whole story of it, the textbook's account of the 1872 revolt in Cavite generally see it as mutiny of Filipino soldiers and arsenal workers over local grievances, often portraying it as instigated by the friars with the intention of eliminating the priests and lawyers agitating for reforms. This article, basing itself principally on the extensive account sent by Governor Izquierdo to the overseas minister, accepts his characterization of the revolt as a frustrated separatist revolution while rejecting his conclusion as to the instigators of the revolt. Rather, it points to the real authors who escaped execution because of their Masonic ties to Izquierdo. So, based on my own understanding, Cavite Mutiny was all about rebellion to one established government. And the Cavite Mutiny was quickly crushed, but the Spanish regime under the reactionary Governor Rafael D. Izquierdo magnified the incident and used it as an excuse to clamp down on those Filipinos who had been calling for governmental reform. A number of Filipino intellectuals were seized and accused of complicity with the mutineers. After a brief trial, three priests, Jose Burgos, Jacinto Zamora, and Mariano Gomez, were publicly executed. The three subsequently became the martyrs to the cause of Philippine independence. So by this time, we will open up about the death of the three priests. The three priests. These three priests, alternatively stylized as Gomborza, refers to this Filipino Catholic priest Mariano Gomez, Jose Burgos, and Jacinto Zamora, who were executed by Garrote in February 1872. But before they were executed by Garrote in 17 February 1872, first in February 15, they are sentenced to death. And after 2 days, they are executed by Garrote in Bagong Bayan, Philippines by Spanish colonial authorities on charge of subversion arising from the 1872 Cavite Mutiny. So the three priests were killed because Governor Rafael Izquierdo believed that these three priests were nominated by the Filipino to break free the Spanish government, and that's the reason of their deaths. So, stop. It's already discussed the execution of Gomborza. And this is the reason of their death. It was believed by the Governor Rafael Izquierdo that the Filipinos will create its own government, and allegedly the three priests were nominated as the leader of the planned government in order to break free of the Spanish government. So I already explained it. Next. So, who is this Governor Rafael Izquierdo? In other words, who is she? Why is he has a right to execute the three priests? Okay, in other research says that he was the governor, the general during the 1872 Cavite Mutiny, which led to execution of 41 of the mutineers, including the 3 priests. So as I say, not only the 3 priests were Governor Rafael Escardo executed during his governance. There are more 41 mutineers. So as we can read here, Governor Rafael Escardo was a Spanish military officer, politician, and statesman. So let's know why it was happened, why they are rebelling, what are the causes of it. So what are the causes of Cavite Mutiny? The causes of the Cavite Mutiny can be identified through examining the different accounts in its historic events. So what are these different accounts and historic events? First, we have the Jose Montero y Vidal account. So in his account, he is a Spanish historian who interpreted that the mutiny was an attempt to remove and overthrow the Spanish colonizers in the Philippines. And his account also corroborated with the account of Governor General Rafael Escudero y Gutierrez, the Governor General of the Philippine Island during the mutiny. Then they mentioned that the mutiny was powered by a group of native clergy in the Philippines. And the second account is the Governor Rafael Escardo. He insisted that the mutiny is simulated and prepared by the native clergy, mestizos, and lawyers as a signal of objection against the injustices of the government, such as not paying provinces for tobacco crops, pay tribute on and rendering of forced labor. It is not clearly identified if Indians planned to inaugurate a monarchy or a republic because they don't have a word in their own language to describe this different form of government, whose leader in Filipino would be called Hari. However, it turned out that they would set at the supreme of the government a priest that the letter selected would be Jose Burgos or Jacinto Zamora, which is the plan of the rebels who guided them and the men's by they counted upon its realization. So that is the account, and that is the identification of the account of Governor Rafael Escardo. The third one is the account of Trinidad Pardo de Tavera. In his account, he says that the event is just a simple mutiny, since up to that the time, the Filipinos have no intention of separation from Spain, but only secure materials and education advancement in the country. This resulted in the friars afraid that their leverage in the Philippines would be a thing in the past, took advantage of the mutiny and reported it to the Spanish government as a brood conspiracy organized throughout the archipelago with the object of abolishing Spanish sovereignty. The Madrid government, without any attempt to investigate the real facts or extent of the alleged revolution reported by Escardo, and the friars believed the scheme was true. Okay, so this is the beliefs of account of Trinidad Pardo de Tavera. The last one is the account of Edmond Plausio, I don't know what to pronounce it properly. So in this account, he traced the immediate cause to a peremptory order from the Governor Escardo, exacting personal taxes from the Filipino laborers in the engineering and artillery corps in the Cavite arsenal, and requiring them to perform forced labor like ordinary subjects. He also traced that the primary cause of the mutiny is believed to be an order from Governor General Carlos to subject the soldiers of the Engineering and Artillery Corps to personal taxes, from which they were previously exempt. The taxes required them to pay a monetary sum as well as to perform forced labor called Polo Y Servicio. The mutiny was sparked on January 28, 1872, when the laborers received their pay and realized the taxes as well as the falya, the fine unpaid to be exempt from forced labor, had been deducted from their salaries. So, Cavite Mutiny were procreated because of these different accounts in these historical events. And in addition, accounts of the mutiny suggest that the Spanish Revolution in Spain during that time added more determination to the natives to overthrow the current colonial Spanish government. So, that is all about the Cavite Mutiny. And before we end, don't forget to answer the given questions. That is 15 points on the identifications. So this is it. So let's try identification. Write your answer in a clean sheet of paper. Take note, write only your answer. Okay, so I guess this is all finished. Thank you guys for listening, and God bless.